What's going on, you guys? Michael Myers here. Welcome back to a brand new video. Today I'm gonna be bringing you guys my top 10 horror movie sequels of all time. Now, if you guys remember a while back, I did do I believe it was a top 20 horror movies of all time, and if you guys have not seen that, you guys should go check it out on the channel. But I do plan on continuing this little series, doing my top 10s and stuff like that. I will be doing a top 10 remakes, maybe a top 10 worst sequels and stuff like that. So yeah, I'm gonna be starting off today with my top 10 sequels, and we're gonna get started here. So number 10 on my list, had to give it to Saw 2. Now, Saw is one of those series that, of course, not the greatest. I believe, the first three are the only good ones, but definitely Saw 2 is a definitely great sequel, man. I'd probably love it as much as the first one, because in this one you kind of get a closer look. You get to know the Jigsaw killer more. You got Donnie Wahlberg, who kind of pretty much has like a one-on-one with him, and you kind of course get to know the Jigsaw killer more. In the first one, he was kind of more of a mystery, but yeah, man, I just think it's a pretty damn good sequel. Definitely some pretty cool death scenes, some traps. Of course, you got Amanda back in this, but yeah, man, like I said, this was always one of those that I probably love as much as the first one. But yeah, definitely knew that Saw 2 had to be on the list. So yeah, that's number 10, Saw 2, pretty good sequel. Number 9, I'm gonna have to give it to Hellraiser 2. Now, I know this sequel really isn't the greatest, but to me, I like sequels that, they have that same feeling and remind you of the first classic movie. And I think Hellraiser 2 is one of those. I grew up with this movie, so it's definitely a memorable one for me. And of course, this sequel does what a sequel does. It definitely has more into it. For example, this one you could say is a little bit more disturbing than the first one. You got more, effects and stuff like that. A little bit more gore to it. But yeah, man, I really did like this one. It has that good feeling, that good original feeling. So you get to see how Pinhead becomes Pinhead. Even though I wasn't a big fan of the whole, plot with the little girl who has like the telekinesis powers, and towards the ending, it really didn't age that good. But overall, man, I just think it's a pretty good sequel, and I had to put it in here. But yeah, Hellraiser 2, Hellbound, number 9. Number 8, Psycho 2. Now, Psycho 2, I will say, is probably the only good Psycho movie in the series other than the original. Because I really did like this sequel, man. I know a lot of people, I've seen people not a big fan of this one. But of course, you get to see more of Norman Bates. Norman Bates is definitely one of the greatest horror killers in the genre. I really did like the story on this. You could say it's kind of more story structured than the first original classic. The original Alfred Hitchcock, definitely one of the, best classics of all time. But Psycho 2, man, I really enjoyed. You get more kills, you get more action into it. That's why Psycho 2, definitely a good sequel. I might rewatch it. Haven't seen it in a while, and I recently got it at a DVD shop. So yeah, man, Psycho 2, pretty good sequel. I believe the script was written by Tom Holland, who definitely delivered us some classics. Of course, Fright Night, Child's Play. So Psycho 2, man, pretty good sequel in my opinion. So yeah, number 7. A lot of people might not agree with me on this one, but this is just my opinion. Nightmare on Elm Street 2, Freddy's Revenge. Of course, a lot of people prefer, Dream Warriors, and some people even prefer Dream Warriors over the original. But Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is another one of those, man, that definitely remind me of the original movie. And of course, it doesn't continue after the first film. Got new characters in here. But what I really always loved about Nightmare on Elm Street 2 is Freddy Krueger. This was when he still wasn't cracking jokes every single damn scene. So, that kind of came towards like part 3 and part 4. But this was when he was still kind of scary. He was more sinister in this one. Of course, you see more of him than in the first movie. even the story, it wasn't that bad. A lot of people really weren't a fan of the whole story, with the boy, the Freddy Krueger trying to possess the boy. And honestly, guys, I might do a discussion on this maybe soon. I think this concept really, I don't think it's a bad one for, like, let's say an upcoming Nightmare on Elm Street movie, because it was probably, that time, I think this type of, topics, is kind of more acceptable in today's world. Let me know if you guys would like to see a discussion, because I think this type of concept idea would work for like a new Nightmare on Elm Street movie in today's world. But yeah, man, Nightmare on Elm Street 2, pretty good sequel in my opinion. Even though it broke some of the Wes Craven rules, I still really enjoyed Nightmare on Elm Street 2. So yeah, that's that. Next on the list, Friday the 13th, the final chapter. Now, in my opinion, this is my favorite from the whole Friday series. I was kind of debating either it was going to be this one or Friday the 13th Part 2, but I think throughout so many watches, I am going to have to choose this one, man, because this is like Friday the 13th to the fullest. Like, if you haven't seen Friday the 13th at all, none of the movies, I say start with this one. Even though, of course, you got to watch the original, but I think this is just Friday the 13th at its finest. So, yeah, the final chapter, pretty good movie, man. I really enjoyed this one. So, yeah, number 5, this is probably my favorite Rob Zombie movie of all time, The Devil's Rejects. Pretty damn good sequel, man. Of course, this one's more, definitely more hardcore on the gore, on the, definitely more disturbing than House of a Thousand Corpses. But The Devil's Rejects, man, is a pretty damn good movie. I just like how they continue coming out from House of a Thousand Corpses. I just think it's pretty freaking dope, man. Of course, the ending with the classic song is just great, man. In my opinion, it just should have been House of a Thousand Corpses and Devil's Rejects. I don't think 3 from Hell was really necessary, but yeah, man. I mean, Sherry Moon Zombie, you got Otis, and of course Sid Haig, rest in peace. They're just freaking badasses, man. Yeah, this is definitely it's one hell of a ride. So if you guys have not seen Devil's Rejects, I recommend it. But yeah, pretty damn good sequel. Number 4, here's another classic, Child's Play 2. Child's Play 2, of course, one of the best sequels of all time. This is probably, I don't like it as much as the original movie, but a lot of people do like this one over the original. Of course, this one is just more fun. It's more, it's more fun, more action to it. Of course, it continues with the Andy character. Just a classic, man. Of course, definitely one of the main ones I grew up with. Child's Play 2, you can never get enough of Child's Play 2. Just a great, colorful movie, soundtrack amazing, great stuff. Child's Play 2, classic. Number 3, the best zombie movie of all time, in my opinion, Dawn of the Dead. Dawn of the Dead, great movie, man. Of course, sequel to Night of the Living Dead. This is just the best zombie movie, man, of all time. George A. Romero, just for its time, man, I just think it's definitely just some great stuff. The practical effects, just everything, man. It's just a great film. Definitely one of my favorites. Dawn of the Dead, George A. Romero, fantastic. Number 2, of course, Halloween 2. This is the 30th anniversary edition. Another one, man, that definitely reminds you of that first original movie, man. Always loved Halloween 2. This was actually my favorite sequel at one point, but once I evaluated my thoughts, put this little list together, I have it at number 2. But yeah, man, Halloween 2, just great, man. Probably, as great as the first one. But yeah, man, love Halloween 2. Okay, now number 1, my favorite sequel of all time. I'm gonna give it to The Conjuring 2. Now, this movie, in my opinion, is better than the original movie, than the first Conjuring. I remember it kind of took me a few watches to really have my thoughts together on the first one. But when I saw Conjuring 2, man, it's just great stuff, man. I really like the whole nun character, you know, the demon. I just think it played out really good, of course, with the what's their name, the Warrens. I don't know, man. The story is pretty good, and I believe it was based on true events, you know, with the girls and stuff like that. But yeah, man, this is a great sequel. What a true sequel should be right here. But yeah, man, Conjuring 2, great movie. But yeah, guys, that was my list, my top 10 horror movie sequels. Definitely tell me what you guys think about my little list. Of course, you guys could leave down your top 10 below. Tell me if you guys agree with any of these. And yeah, guys, thank you guys for watching. Like I said, I will be doing more top 10 videos, so be on the lookout for that. Thank you guys for watching. It's Michael Myers signing out.